Hi there, I'm Joey.
I'm Jacob.
And we are watching Star Trek for the first time. Last time on Star Trek Con!
And the best ending this series could have asked for.
And now there's more.
And now it's continuing.
God damn it.
Much like we were promised, I suppose. It's just...
Yeah, it could... We could just not watch it. We could just not watch
It's
it.
possible, sure.
Yeah.
I just feel like if Spock ever shows up again, we're gonna be confused.
I just don't want him back, is the thing.
Yeah, that was the best ending.
That was the best one. I don't want him back. I don't want this movie to exist. But here we are.
But here we are. It is a film that exists. And
so today we're watching Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. It could be good.
It could be good.
I don't think it is.
I have not heard it's a good film.
I've always been told only the even-numbered Star Trek films are good.
Which is incredible if that's true.
Yeah.
If every even number one is actually just better of
there were things I liked about the motion picture.
Sure.
Yeah.
My problem with the motion picture was just how long the shots held and the film was kind of boring.
Yeah. But I mean, Khan was fucking amazing. Let's see what happens here. We're gonna get into post-movie thoughts in a second. We're about to watch Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. I feel like, in truly equal measure, I loved about as much of this movie as I hated.
I think I disliked more of the film than I liked.
See, that's weird. I think I liked a little bit more. Like, if a 5 out of 10 is like the middle, then like it leans a bit more towards 6 for me than it does 4. Personally.
You see, that's hard to say. Because
4 would imply that it's worse than Star Trek the Motion Picture. And I think it's better than Star Trek the Motion Picture.
No, it's definitely better than Star Trek the Motion Picture. I think it's like just a solid 5.
Interesting. So The Search for Spock is weird. It's a really weird movie. So on one hand, I kind of went into this thinking like, okay, they're going to have to come up with some bullshit reason as to why Spock is coming back. Some new, I don't know, Vulcan power that he has. And it is. That's totally it.
That's definitely what happened.
But then they throw a little twist in there that I'm like, no, they couldn't. That couldn't have been planned, right? That's not what was happening there.
But it's also the only thing we really questioned.
Yeah, that was the only thing I couldn't explain from the end of Wrath of Khan was the remember moment. Look, I haven't looked into the production of these films yet because these are my first time watching.
Right.
My first time watching these.
These are like our Star Trek episodes.
Yeah. So if I'm missing something key about the production of these films, or why 3 exists in the way that it does compared to 2, sure, tell me all about it. I'm sure I'll already know by the time you guys all correct us in the comments.
By the time the comments are yelling at us, we've likely already learned the answer.
But like, as it stands, I don't know what I believe more. It's really, really weird. Okay, so strengths. First off, Leonard Nimoy is directing, which is lovely. He's not in the film really until like the very end, so he's directing. He does a lovely job.
He does a very good job, I think.
Lovely job, and he's really damn good, and he puts a lot of focus on like how other characters are feeling about Spock's absence from the film, which is really nice actually. I love those opening moments about like Kirk. Commenting on Spock like being gone as if there's like this hole missing from the ship.
What do you call it? A gaping wound?
Yeah. I wasn't. That's it on the opening of the film. I wasn't a fan of the opening literally on the end of Wrath of Khan. It's like, okay, it feels like we're kind of banking on Wrath of Khan's success,
which I feel we totally were.
Whatever. Hey, Christopher Lloyd's a Klingon though. He's lovely. Pre Back to the Future, Christopher Lloyd. Which is just weird.
I think it's weird because
I was only like a year before Back to the Future.
I just think it's weird because if you think about it, most people would go, "Oh, he's from like Back to the Future."
Yeah.
Instead, if you saw him in Back to the Future, you would have been like, "Oh, the Star Trek guy."
Yeah. But no, he's lovely. He makes a great villain. I'm surprised it took this long for any of the Star Trek films to make the Klingons like the main villains of the films. Really, really interesting. They only had, otherwise they only had that small appearance at the beginning of motion picture.
Even then, they were sort of target practice.
Yeah, exactly. Literally.
Yeah, they were target practice. Literally.
Okay, so Spock comes back because apparently when he was about to die, he transferred basically his essence into Dr. McCoy.
I think what happened there is because Spock knew he was gonna die, so he did the whole remember thing, and I don't know if it's planned or not.
Mm-hmm.
And he went in there knowing his body will fail, But the moment that happens, his eternal soul will go into Dr. McCoy.
And that's not even like a stupid exaggeration of how it happens. That's how they describe it. His eternal soul is in Dr. McCoy. What?
I know.
So, beyond that, we use that as an opportunity to really comment on one of my favorite things about Star Trek up to this point, and that is the Spock-McCoy relationship, which I've commented on a million times, I'm sure, in these fucking videos.
We probably said it often.
It's so good. It's so good. I love the relationship. I love seeing how it expands. I love seeing how McCoy takes this responsibility. First off, in like one of my favorite lines in the movie that I quoted, the second he learns about it, he's like, "That green-blooded son of a bitch." I love that. That's so good. But like, yeah, I love the relationship there. Leading up to, I'll talk about the end right now because it's damn near one of my favorite moments in the whole movie. When they say to McCoy, like, "Hey, you will be pretty much in as much danger as he is during this process. Like, you can die," and McCoy's like, I choose the danger. I accept this.
Although he does have in good McCoy fashion, he also has a line of, "Oh, now you tell me."
Yeah. But I just, oh man, I love it. I fucking love this character so much. Right down to that little moment when they do get Spock back, and he's looking at him, and he's like, he actually misses him. I fucking, so good. But as said, for everything I loved in this movie, there's probably something I hated about equally. Yeah, it's
kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Yeah, the big thing, one of the big things here for me is what the fuck is with the Genesis pod thing? Okay, so the Genesis planet is where Spock's body landed.
Right, got caught in its gravitation or whatever.
Through this pod and planet being in contact with his body, it regenerated his body to be like 9 years old.
Right, but here's the thing. My gut would have told me it would have just brought his body back.
Yeah.
Not literally regenerated his body.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't do that to the microbes that were on the outside of his pod.
Yeah.
They just grow bigger and evolve.
Mm-hmm. It's so weird. It's really fucking weird. Triples make a small appearance in this film.
They do.
That's nice.
In a bar that has the hologram planes?
Yeah. I was like... There's that game in Star Wars that nobody really knows how to play. I'm sure there are people that know.
I'm sure there's...
But that little like chessboard game, and then you see like in Star Trek now they have that sort of a game where it's like holographic like ships flying around. I'm like, no, they have their own. No, they gave in. But whatever.
Although that's one of those funnier scenes, I think, because McCoy shows up wanting to charter a ship.
DeForest Kelly's acting pretty much as Mr. Spock is so good.
Yeah, shows up wanting to charter a ship,
and
then through chance and loud voices, he's caught by Starfleet.
Yeah, and so Kirk, Chekhov, Scotty, Uhura, Sulu, they stage a fucking breakout.
Right?
Sulu kicks ass, Uhura kicks ass with this Kevin Conroy looking guy. And it's great. They get McCoy out of there, and Kirk... this is my actual favorite moment in the film, because this is the thing that like really got me into this film.
I know exactly what you mean.
Kirk gets them all on the Enterprise. They're all gonna escape. Uhura stays behind. I guess it's sort of like the fall guy. And Kirk is like, this is where it ends. I can't force you guys to come with me. I can't make you risk your careers on this.
Even though Sulu definitely risked his already by punching that guy out.
So it's got to be just me and McCoy. And everybody fucking stands their ground like, no. We're in this together. Let's fucking get Spock. And dude, like that gave me that same feeling that I got watching the motion picture, just like that getting the bang back together kind of vibe. I was just like, I was really into that. I love seeing these characters interact in that way, and just that fucking camaraderie. I love that.
It was at that moment too where nothing super stupid has happened yet.
Yeah, other than just the introduction of the way that Spock is going to continue to exist. By the way, speaking of, Sarek's in this film, played once again by Mark Leonard, who's fucking wonderful. I love him so much.
Listen, if the man can come back to the animated series, he'll come to this.
He'll come to the movies. He's so damn good. I do kind of wish Spock's mom showed up at some point. Was her name Amanda or something? I wish she showed up at some point, but whatever.
I kind of like that his dad showed up, already planning to tell Kirk off. No, like, oh, did he try to save himself? No. Why didn't you save him?
Yeah. As if, Spock had the time to explain everything to Kirk. But again, Sarek doesn't know that.
But the Sarek also reacts like at the beginning of the film. He acts like every Vulcan theoretically could go on forever. But at the end of the film, they're like, no, this is super rare. You're talking about legendary shit, my dude.
Yeah, so Sarek's just like, oh yeah, don't you know, dumbass? This is something every Vulcan can do. It's like, no, that's not, doesn't make any sense.
By the end of the film, Sarek is being told, listen, you're being asked kind of the impossible.
Yeah. But I do want to go back to that one scene that I said, like, I fucking loved, where they all, standing around with Kirk and they take the Enterprise together. I loved that shot, first off, of just seeing just the 5 of them on the bridge together. Loved that. As they're leaving, this other captain guy contacts them, and he's like, Kirk, if you fucking go through with this, I have it quoted, you will never sit in the captain's seat again. And Kirk just fucking ignores that, and he goes straight forward. And that's fucking character development, my guy! That's what it's fucking about! That's it right there! Oh my god, it's so good! That's so fucking good! This guy that was so fucking attached to being captain of the Enterprise, to being, one of the best fucking captains in Starfleet, being so dedicated to these people, and now here he is, risking it all for his fucking friend. That's it! That's it right there! That's so good! I
feel like that is not the peak of this character, because it will likely continue, especially given the title of the next movie, which was very interesting by the time we were, like, almost at the end.
Yeah, we'll talk about that more shortly.
Yeah, but like, that's the character development.
Yeah.
That Kirk, the main character of the show, like, when it was TOS.
Yeah.
Was like, he's the captain. He's the unfaultable guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And when he's the admiral, he's kind of faultable.
Yeah.
He wants to be captaining. He wants to feel useful. And now, he's past that.
Yeah. Now he's his own man, finally.
I mean, maybe. The next film might change
Hopefully. That. Oh, God. I feel like the total whiplash I go through just watching Kirk's character arc.
I know.
But yeah, see, it's around this time we start introducing the idea of the planet aging rapidly along with Spock. So that's
which really throws into question the cave system made by Genesis.
Yeah, it's weird. It's really, really weird. Yeah, I don't know. The Klingons eventually find like Spock, Saavik, and David,
and they also blow up the scientific ship.
They do, yeah.
By accident, I think.
Yeah, but we get this whole sequence where it's like the Enterprise like fighting the Klingons. It's a fun little bit, I guess. But then, like... So Genesis is slowly destroying itself. The Klingons want Genesis, and, they need Kirk for this. So what they're doing is they're threatening David, Saavik, and little Spock, teenage Spock, I guess, at this point.
Klingons don't know he's Spock. Just
Yeah.
feel like that should be said.
Yeah. But yeah, so they're threatening them. And the Klingon captain is I never wrote down the name of Christopher Lloyd's Klingon. He's Christopher Lloyd.
Christopher Lloyd.
And he tells him to kill one of the prisoners. And he's like, I don't care which one. So he's gonna kill Saavik at first.
Yeah.
And then David jumps in the way, and David fights the Klingon for like 2 seconds before he's stabbed. To like, no music, no climax. William Shatner acts his fucking heart out afterwards.
Right, that's the stupid thing, then the good thing.
Yeah. But like, I felt this complete sense of anticlimax when David died.
Because that's Kirk's son.
Yeah, well, especially with the way that Wrath of Khan ends too, which I think I kind of should have seen it coming in the way that like. So, how they show the end of Wrath of Khan at the start of Search for Spock, but then they also completely ignore the other part of Kirk's emotional journey in that, which is not only losing his friend, but it's finding his son.
That's true.
So, I guess it shouldn't surprise me that Kirk's son's plot gets completely swept to the side so unceremoniously in this
Someone somewhere was like, no, that's a loose end we need to tie up.
Yeah, and it's just like, I don't know, I could have just as easily accepted him just not being in the movie if you really didn't care about telling his story.
Or even it would have not been easier, and I don't necessarily want to say it, but it almost would have been easier to get rid of the love interest mother.
Yeah, well, she is. Gosh, she's not here in this movie.
Right? No, I mean like to kill her though. Like it would have been easier narratively.
Yeah. So now I'm a little confused on Kirk's sense of self, because by the end he has his friend back, but he's lost his son. So like, it's very much a problem for the next couple films to handle.
You literally flipped the last ending.
Yeah. But hey, back on good things. We fulfilled that self-destruct thing from TOS. They bring it back with the multi-person confirmation of the self-destruct of the Enterprise. As the Klingons begin to board, the Klingons are on there. They blow up the fucking ship as they're already on the planet below.
The Enterprise gone.
Yeah, which, goddamn, that's good.
That's the icon of the franchise at this point.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what they'll be doing. I guess. So that also depends on are we going to do another time jump? I can't imagine we'll do another time jump.
No, I feel like we have to do another pretty direct sequel.
Yeah.
So we can clean up the very present legal issues.
Yeah, because there's the problem of them, all their jobs with Starfleet being in jeopardy now, and also, just the fact that they're on Vulcan right now, and you have a slowly who's finding himself again Spock,
and Vulcan can't exactly hold them outside of being illegal at the moment because they're a Federation planet.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. Anyway, Spock ages again. Basically, it's the final thing where he becomes Leonard Nimoy. Kirk finds Spock, Saavik, and dead David. Cries over him for a little bit. It's worth noting that Shatner gets a whole fight scene with Christopher Lloyd's Klingon, as if almost as if Christopher Lloyd killed his son. But it was just, I don't know. I'm kind of interested in Kirk's revenge quest against the random thug, the random thug Klingon, the grunt.
I'd like to point out, if I followed how many Klingons there was just the one left, and it was the right-hand guy, and he was with Christopher Lloyd on the ship.
Yeah. But instead Kirk has some witty banter with him towards the end. It's that's the guy that he's not eternally pissed at. And also just a really anticlimactic fight. Once again, I don't know, I felt nothing.
That was the bad thing. Then we got the good thing with the being witty.
Yeah. I fucking wrote down this line too because it's the fucking stupidest thing. As Kirk and the Christopher Lloyd Klingon, they get their Mufasa Scar moment above the fire below as the Klingon's holding on and Kirk is gonna kick him down. Instead of this big dramatic line, he's just I have had enough of you, and he kicks him down into the flames below.
Like that annoying neighbor kid you just don't want to play with.
He's just oh man, I don't want to hang out with you anymore. That's
our parents are friends, but
it's oh man. But I do love the moment with the other Klingon afterwards, and he's like either you help us or die. I do not deserve to live.
I'll kill you later.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, and then I think actually otherwise. Oh yeah. Okay, so towards the end of the film, I was like, we're getting towards the end of the film.
We had under a half hour.
Yeah, and they described this whole journey at the start of the film when Sarek talks to Kirk. He's like, hey, you have to find Spock. You have to come to the top of this mountain on Vulcan, and we will bring him back to life. Pretty much.
It's some other ritual.
And Kirk is like, okay, I accept your quest. And we're getting towards the end, and we were only just finding Spock, and I was like, wow, okay. So is the voyage home is that them getting to Vulcan and bringing back Spock?
That would make for an interesting movie. That would be avoiding Federation ships.
Yeah,
it could be a movie.
But instead, in the last 10 minutes, they get to Vulcan. They have to climb a flight of stairs to get to the ceremony. That's all it is. They're just her is there, and she's they said you have to go up there. She points to this staircase behind her. I'm that's it? That's all you gotta do? Okay, that sounds way easier. I don't know, I had interpreted that when it was first done. It was that's a whole other quest in and of itself. Trekking through Vulcan. You have to prove your worth to get up there and prove that this Vulcan deserves to continue living or whatever.
Especially because by the time we get to the top, it's an ancient legend thing.
Yeah.
It should be a test of character.
Yeah, no, you just walk up a flight of stairs, you'll just be there, I guess.
They could have landed in the space.
So weird. Yeah, it's really weird. Anyway, so we already described the end of the film. But also I'm curious, okay, so I feel kind of cheated by the end. Spock starts talking as if he kind of remembers everything.
It's like they're doing the amnesia or the amnesia patient remembering.
Yeah, but in a really short amount of time. And on one hand, I'm yes, I understand it. We've already done Spock learning to be a human twice. One of those times was just two movies ago. However, I feel like it should be at least a little harder than that. Just a little bit. But then the film literally gives you a cheek and a nod
by McCoy pointing to his head.
And they play the little opening theme over it, and it's just like, that's it. That's Search for Spock, and it's just like, I mean, yeah, at least this time, unlike the end of Wrath of Khan, like, I actually feel like there is more story to tell now, thankfully. Both in, where Spock is going after this, and also just, what? Are we allowed back at Starfleet?
It even says on the screen, like, the
adventure continues, yeah. Like, it's I don't know. It's fun.
I don't know.
Okay.
I kind of wish, personally, they split this up between 2 movies.
Yeah. I kind of wish this was just like, the Finding Spock movie, and then The Voyage Home, or whatever else you would call it, I guess.
The Search for Spock and The Voyage Home are literally the most perfect titles for a 2-part movie.
Yeah, but I mean, again, The Voyage Home could directly follow on from plotlines from this, just not the ones that I had thought as we were coming upon the end of this movie.
Right.
It's really, really weird. I don't know. I don't get it. But I guess I get far too few things in Star Trek as it is.
We always try to predict what's going to happen.
Yep.
We should have learned from the 80+ episodes of this show we've seen.
Yep. Fuck it. just don't bother.
Done predicting.
Don't bother. So we have 3 movies left. We're halfway through the TOS movies, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I feel not as emotionally drained this time around, which feels really nice. I feel actually up for 3 more movies.
Last time,
provided they're not horrible. The next one is also directed by Leonard Nimoy, which might be kind of cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I guess we're gonna find out. So, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to join us next time when we continue the Star Trek films. Until next time, this has been Joey Morgan.
I'm Jacob.
Goodbye.